Dun,
Hello and welcome into
doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
the Knicks-Verse Syndicate pregame show with my boys from Sports Vibes TV, Stephen Fox and Quis. How you doing, guys?
Hi, how are you?
Are you
I'm
guys
good. How's
excited for
everything with
this
you
game?
guys? Yeah, man. I'm excited to see how we look. RJ's been stepping his game up, so I want to see him continue to take steps forward.
And as bizarre as this sounds, without Booker and without Chris Paul, I know this is going to be controversial. This is a winnable game.
Yes. I hate to admit it, but yes, this is a winnable game.
Yeah, but statistically, one game, they're going to all show up. And if you look at who they're playing against, well, they're Crowders and the other guys, we'll get into it. But this could be a winnable game.
It is a winnable game.
Every time we say it's a winnable game, they still find a way to lose. So
that's impressive of this team.
Right?
Man, that's
the one thing they're consistent about. The one thing.
Yeah. Very consistent about that, man. I was looking up earlier. I was like, God, we lost to the Trailblazers. We lost to OKC.
And they beat up on the Trailblazers last game, the Suns, without Booker and without Paul.
Oh, man. That hurts. Salute to the chat. Chris Dada, Lex the Destroyer, Canal Ban Lawyer, 13. Welcome, guys. Thank you guys for joining us for a late night edition. Yeah, late night.
It was weird, Nick starting at 10.
I know. I was like, oh, for me, it's earlier, but still, I'm on New York time, so
I'm missing Gold Rush for this. So,
oh man, hey, you guys I want to hear your feelings about that last game against the Sixers. Did you guys Did you guys at any moment think that we actually could win that game?
No. Just meaning they've been teasing
during the game.
No, they just been teasing the emotions. I was talking to a friend and I went, "Oh, we're opening up good, and it's going to be so weird." I swear to God but in the fourth quarter, the Knicks will do what they've done all year, and we'll get blown out by double digits. So they do this every time, tease us, third quarter, and then in the fourth quarter, no closing, and we get our butt kicked. And exactly what I said was going to happen, and that doesn't make me smart. It just means I've been watching them do this game after game. So and that's the worst part of it.
Yeah. How about you, Quis?
Yeah, George, you know my situation. I didn't get to start watching live with everyone else until the fourth quarter. So the minute I turned on the TV and I saw Taj Gibson in the game, I said, "Yeah, I know it's over." I knew this was over. So me personally, the minute I started watching, I knew we had no shot, and we were already down by that time in the fourth quarter.
You knew we were cooked. You knew we were cooked by then, huh?
Yep, I knew it was over. I got to rewatch the game. You saw the breakdown I put out, and I think that was
excellent. That was an excellent.
You guys haven't
seen it? Yeah, if you haven't seen it, you should check out Quis's film breakdown of RJ's performance in the last game.
Yeah, so I knew that we were not as good as them out there on the court. So I was just looking to see if RJ can continue to take steps. And now we're starting to see him be more aggressive with the ball. We're starting to see him show signs of being a facilitator out there on the court. Now, the next thing I want to see from him is the consistency. So that's what I'm going into tonight's game to see if he can continue to build upon that, because I don't want to see him revert back to those periods where we would see big stretches where he would play well. We would think he was coming along, and then you would have long, 3-4 game stretch of ineptitude. So that's what I'm looking for in tonight's game when it comes to RJ.
One of the exciting things is, all of us, our eyes open that, my God, he dropped that amount against Jimmy Butler. And then he comes back against Thibault. And now he's going against Mikal Bridges. And whose wingspan is so freaking disruptive. It's unbelievable.
Mikal should be even more difficult for RJ.
That's what I just said. Yeah, that 7'3" wingspan, the 7'1" wingspan is crazy. So, so I'm looking forward, if he passes this test, like he said, now the consistency all the way through, and hit your foul shots, son. You'd be averaging 20 points a game if you hit your foul shots. I won't ask for the middies yet, the bunnies, but just hit your foul shots, son.
it's distressing that he's missing the foul shots, but everything else in his game has really improved tremendously. And we're going to talk about today. We're going to preview tonight's game, obviously with the Suns. But first, we're going to talk about the possibility of DeAndre Ayton, of the Knicks pursuing DeAndre Ayton in the summer. There was some talk about it before the trade deadline and earlier in the season, but actually right before the season even began, there was discussion of the Knicks possibly. And I'll show you guys what the trade proposal was back then. It'll be a different dynamic now, but there's a possibility of a sign and trade with Mitch and Ayton. I mean, we'll see. We'll talk about it, and then we're going to talk about RJ's. Like, what is his actual ceiling? How high is his ceiling? How good can RJ actually be? So we'll get to that pretty soon. Before that, shout out to the chat. If you guys haven't hit the thumbs up buttons yet, please do. And please subscribe, and subscribe to Sports Vice TV as well. We are actually, this is our late night edition here of the, actually the only time I've gone live this late is with you, Foxy.
I know, man. That was a great show. Yeah, we were post game. We were toasted, but we had such a good time.
Yeah, we were drunk and stoned, but we had a blast. Yeah. Oh man, and,
that's every night for me.
There you guys, you heard it right here first. That's hilarious. All right, let's jump in and go right to it. Let's talk about DeAndre Ayton. Before we get to it about DeAndre Ayton, actually, let's just jump into it. What the hell? So here I pulled this article from Forbes that came out earlier, like early in the season, and maybe even the first week of the season. I can't remember exactly when. And here they outline what the actual financials are. One thing I want you guys to remember is that after the 2025-26 season, the salary cap is going to increase possibly by almost 40% by then. It could reach 170 million. So just bear that in mind. So the numbers right now that we're dealing with, they may feel gargantuan, but when you have an additional $50+ million to spend, it really starts changing the dynamic. And so it also makes me kind of curious why the Suns passed up on this, but we'll talk about this. But basically, this is what the Suns could sign him to: a 5-year, $172.6 million max contract. Other teams can offer in the summer, because he's a restricted free agent, they can offer a 4-year, $127.9 million deal. Now, next to it there, you can see I have the other contracts that the other centers in the league have signed. And you can see there that if you look, I don't know, can you guys read it? Because it's kind of small.
Somewhat, but I know the numbers for the most part.
Okay. So, I mean, basically he would fall, and actually, Foxy, you had mentioned this before. You thought he's kind of closer to like a Jared Allen.
Statistically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And Jared signed a 5-year, $100 million contract.
And rewarded his team with an all-star berth too.
Yeah. But he signed that. When did he sign that contract? Was that over the summer?
Yeah, I believe so.
I believe so.
Yeah. You can see the Al Horford contract there. Oof. He's 33. He signed a 4-year, $109 million. Let's just talk the actual numbers before we talk about like what a deal might be itself. But you just look at it there. I mean, you can see that the number one guy is Rudy Gobert, then Joel Embiid, then Karl Anthony Towns. For some reason, Joel Embiid is on here twice. That's a mistake. Nikola Jokic, Al Horford.
Well, he probably signed 2 different deals, maybe. What salary is? I mean, what contract is Embiid on? Is he on the second?
This should be the current one. Oh, you know what? That's what it is.
Yep.
It's the one that's still going, and then he signed the new one. So that's what it is. So wow, man, that guy's rolling in it. And then after Jared Allen, it's Vukovic, and then we have Clint Capella, Miles Turner, Brook Lopez. It drops off from there. Wendell Carter Jr.
It's a big drop off.
Yeah, Nurkic. In terms of talent, and then you can see DeAndre Ayton right now. He's 18th in terms of paid centers. Where would you guys rank him as a center right now, looking at this list? Would you put him in the top tier group of Embiid, Jokic, Cat? Like that? To me, those are the top three.
Not personally, no.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Those three, they can take over the game at points. I don't see Ayton as that type of player right now that can single-handedly take over a game.
Yeah, me either. But
and other aspects of their games, meaning he's not going to be passing like Jokic, and he's not going to be hitting threes like Embiid. And
I think he's a better defender than Jokic, my opinion. Yeah, I think he's he has a higher ceiling for defending than Jokic, but not nowhere near Gobert and Embiid, that's for sure. And even Jared Allen. I think Jared Allen is a better defender.
I think one way you can kind of differentiate these centers is those centers at the top, they're elite at something. I don't know if Ayton right now is elite at any one particular area of his game.
Well said, man.
True. Where do you see him then in that kind of like that second tier group, like with Allen?
Yep.
Okay, good, because that's kind of where I see him as well. Well, if we're looking at that second group, that's a $25 million guy. At that number, but see, he wants the max. He wanted the max. So there's a disconnect about what he's expecting, what he feels he deserves, and what the market will actually bear. What number do you think would be an actual, bearing in mind what he's expecting, what he'd like, and what he can possibly get? And remember, he's still pretty young. Was he? It's like 23? Yeah, I think he is. He is. Well, he signed that deal when he was 19. The original deal. Yeah, so he'll be 23 this summer when he signs. What would you be willing to pay him per year, Foxy?
Let's reverse engineer it in the sense that we have Julius with the new contract at 30.
No, don't think about that. Don't think about that. Don't think about how he fits with the Knicks. Just
no, I'm thinking financially. So if you have 30 million there, and we have RJ's bag coming at in the 30 million range, and you have a few other guys, how are we going to fit him in when you have to throw the bag at RJ?
Yeah, but we have the opportunity. But RJ, we already have him. We can go over the cap to sign him. Same with Cam. If we.
My point is with Cam, with RJ, with Mitch, or with a 5 and stuff like that. But with Fournier and a few others. But I wouldn't go more than 20 some odd million for him.
So like 21-ish, 22 maybe.
I don't even know that. Meaning Jared Allen's 20. I don't think that's my limit. If Jared Allen's getting 20, I wouldn't do a penny over 20.
Yeah. Okay. How about you, Quis?
Yeah, I have a similar opinion as Foxy. I like to break it down into, average annual value. So you look at those elite players, those elite centers, they're all making either, 31 million and up, with Rudy Gobert making the most at 35 million per year. Then after that, you have Al Horford, who's making 27, and you really can't factor him into the equation because he's overpaid right now.
Yeah,
and then below him is
contract.
Exactly. Yeah. And below him is Vooch, who's making 24. And then you've got Jared Allen, who's the same age as Ayton, who got his average annual value is 20 mil. So like Foxy said, I'm trying to bring Ayton in at that same figure. So if I am going to try and pursue a DeAndre Ayton, and he's willing to take that 20 mil, then it's something that's, more feasible when you're comparing it to re-signing Mitchell Robinson, who might get, cost you 11 to 12 mil, because now you're talking about only an $8 million gap that you have to cover. And if you look at what Ayton is able to do offensively and still give you, similar levels of defense out there on the court, then I'd be able to justify paying a little bit more for Ayton, seeing that he's in the same age group as some of our young core players. But anything outside of that, I think that would be an overpay, because yes, Ayton, I think, is a better player offensively than Mitch. He's still not that, he's not an elite shooter from three. I think he's still shooting in like the low 30s from
he's
three.
36. He's at 36% right now, but it's only like 15.
Not
I'll show
that
you guys
many
the
attempts.
stats here. I'll show you the stats.
Yeah.
Let's go to the stats here. So you go.
Not that many attempts. Last year he shot.
Thank you. I was about to say, please bring up the attempts.
And
11 attempts.
Thank you.
But he hit more.
What I do like the fact that though is every year he's been in the league, he's increased the amount of points he's scoring from the mid range. So that's something I like when you're looking at somebody that can stretch the floor.
I'm so glad you
more
brought that up.
Than Mitchell Robinson.
Look at his jump shot percentage. He's hitting 51% of his jump shots. I mean, that's elite level for a big.
I think he's fourth in the league in field goal percentage.
Yeah, but that's that's guys that live around the rim. I'm talking about. Look at his. He's from 16 feet out. He's hitting 52%. In that 10 to 16 range, almost 48.5%. He's hitting 48.5%. That's a tremendous. That's like Patrick Ewing-esque type numbers right there in the mid range. So I'm glad you brought up the mid range, Keith. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah. No problem. That's what I think is tantalizing about Ayton, the fact that he can score in the post and then stretch the court because he can knock down the mid-range shot. And that's why I would justify paying the additional $8 million. But outside of that, if he wants something like 25, 26 mil, I don't think I would go that far. You look at trying to build a championship roster and, some of the teams that have won championships, you look at the Warriors, they didn't have a center making that type of money. The Bucks, they didn't have a center making that type of money. You have to look at the Lakers, who had Anthony Davis, but he's more so of a power forward, and he has the ability to create from the perimeter. So that's not apples to oranges. So me personally, I wouldn't go for Ayton if it's going to cost over the 20 mil that Jarrett Allen set, because he set the market.
Yeah, I think realistically, I think the market is higher than Jarrett Allen for DeAndre Ayton. I think he has a higher ceiling in terms of shooting, projecting forward. I think he will, like Foxy and I were talking about this earlier. A lot of centers, as they get older, they become better. If they have a 3-point shot, they become a better 3-point shooter. They learn when to take it. They get encouraged by their coaches to take it. I think he has that kind of profile, that he can step out and start taking, maybe take 2-3 3-pointers per game, which would be nice. He's not doing that now. I think he profiles that way. I think he also, just athletically, he's awesome athletically. I love his whole body shape and his mentality. He has a great attitude. He's always smiling. He's a funny person. He's not dour.
Then let's go to the elephant in the room. Why isn't Phoenix signing him? Why isn't he a foundational piece to the Suns?
That may be a mistake that they're making.
Because there's not a young kid behind them. Like sometimes you see somebody, you look at, Indiana, and you're saying they got Isaiah Jackson, they got Jalen Smith recently and other things that you could see, people taking his place, but who the hell's Frank Kaminsky? Who's going to be taking his place, man?
Well, they got McGee right now, but
you know what?
That's going in the opposite direction.
No. I think that's a great point that you made. That from a rebounding, because if you take a step back and you think about Mitch is an elite rebounder versus Ayton. So from a rebounding standpoint, Mitch is there. He's not as good as he's literally one of the best elite rebounders in the league, Mitch. So from a block shots, Mitch is a better shot blocker than Ayton. I think he's a better rim protector than Ayton. Ayton is better on offense, but with a point guard, so he's scoring 16 points with the right point guard, and with RJ and stuff, I could see Mitch scoring 12 points a game.
Mitch said it himself.
Yeah.
He says a lot of stuff. So when I'm looking at it, like he said, if we can get Mitch at that price, what's the delta?
But let's be real. The problem with Mitch is he can't shoot beyond 2 feet, and that kills your offense. Yeah, he's a great rebounder, but it kills your offense when a guy can't shoot.
Can you find alternative options that are cheaper? Because I'm not about to spend 50% more on bringing in Ayton just because he can shoot.
especially when my eyes are saying, "Yo, I want to bring in a $20 million point guard named Jalen Brunson to play along."
It doesn't have to be Jalen Brunson. Any point guard, I'll pay the 20-25 mil. Bring him.
Exactly, because they're going to make everybody else better. You're 100% right. So you have to be selective where you spend your money. So you brought up JaVale McGee. You know, look at his rebounding, look at his shot blocking and everything, but look at, like he said earlier, the value. You know, look what they're paying McGee, and then you're saying, look what he's asking for. Maybe that's the thing with the Suns, that, you know what, those type of guys in the league, you know, you have a guy like Gafford on Washington that's a second string and stuff, but he's a shot blocker and stuff like that. So I don't know from a value perspective, especially where we need to put our monies. And also, like we just said about Mitch and stuff, what's the real delta between the two other than the offense? But like we said, when RJ's in the game, he really gets Mitch in the thing. So if Mitch can get his foul shooting better, I could absolutely see him, if he could stay healthy, obviously, scoring 12, you know, being a double-double every night.
Yeah, if we had a point guard and we had RJ in place, then I would say, all right, maybe a center could be that missing piece. But for us to go and invest that much in Ayton and still not have an answer at point guard, I'd start to be questioning, you know, our priorities.
Gotcha. I think I'm a little bit higher on Ayton than you guys are. Obviously,
I like Ayton.
I'm not even sure I want him, but I think I am just so incredibly tired. So someone asked, why do we want centers here? Why do we encourage here? Brian Janet asks, why do we encourage centers to shoot threes?
Spacing.
Yeah. One of the main problems that both RJ and Randall has the problem, because RJ actually uses Mitch better in the paint than Randall does. What happens with Mitch is his gravity, he brings the other center into the paint down on the block, and it jams up, just clogs up the middle. So then that's why we are actually one of the worst finishers in the game. It's the whole team is. It's just someone's always there extra. That's
congestion.
Why too much congestion down there. And the thing is, even if a center shot the three, you know, like three, at least, you know, maybe took 3 attempts per game, then that center, that Clint Capella guy, that Jared Allen guy, can't sag off the center so much that they can go and just block Julius when he's trying to drive to the basket. That's the main reason. It is for spacing. And plus, you want that versatility. You want that option. You want that guy who can come down at the top of the key. And I mean, centers who can shoot threes, to them, that's just almost like a free throw.
Yeah, that trailing three.
Yeah, that trailing three at the top of the key. We have not. I don't think have we ever even had that as a franchise?
Yeah, Luke Cornett.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, now we want to get corner threes by Taj.
Yeah.
Evan,
but you know what? Just real quick, it goes beyond the threes, though. It's also them hitting a pick and pop like an Aldridge does. That, you know, that makes a big difference, because you know he's not going to do a pick and pop, Mitch. You know, so that changes the defense. But if you know a guy can, so you don't know if he's going to roll or if he's going to.
That's Ayton's bread and butter. I mean, that's where he feasts.
I agree.
He's one of the best pick and pop fives in the game right now.
And that's why they don't have to shoot threes, because even we're looking at Ayton, he's not a high volume 3-point shooter, but he is getting better shooting the mid range, and that would definitely open up the offense for us.
Completely. It would change. The team as currently constructed. Hope we get a point guard of some kind, but as currently constructed with RJ and Randall and Fournier, if we had Ayton on this team, it would be dramatically different. We would be like a much better offense, just as we are right now. Depends.
We still got Tibbs as coach.
That's
They're following his lead.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about this. We want to talk about this.
We should get a Tibbs jar. every
time his name gets mentioned, got to put $5 in. Oh man! But Evan puts Mo Bamba. That's the other option. I mean, go after someone like that. I mean,
and that's a cheaper alternative.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
The three of us have been calling for Mo Bamba to come to this team for
Come
quite a
home.
while.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was interesting to look at this DeAndre Ayton because there's been some rumors around. It's possible. Actually, this was something that was put out there from Inquisitor. It was they actually picked up the story from NBA Analysis, but there's other Forbes wrote about this as well and stuff. So this is one of the teams.
I also saw a Phoenix Suns channel. They had a nice live stream talking about a potential Ayton to the Knicks trade as well.
Yes. Oh yeah, I didn't actually see it, but I saw the posting of it.
When you Google, right?
Yeah, when I Googled
the
it.
Knicks.
That's right. Oh man. Hey, Heck. Salute, brother. Hey, tell him Alejandro. Welcome, man. Dimes and Knicks. You guys want to shout anybody out?
One of our favorites, Geraldine MacGyver. Our guy,
flat-footed.
Even best that you have up on the, as always. Thanks so much, Troy Flett. Canal that you mentioned earlier. Chris Dada, as always, one of the great mods in history. Lex the Destroyer.
Oh yeah, Lex, man. Thank you so much, man.
In fact, shout out to you guys for tuning in and supporting the channel, especially late on a Friday night, especially talking about the Knicks who are on a tough losing streak. So
I think we're going to win this game.
Get a win tonight.
I think we're going to win it tonight.
We say that a lot, and then we come to the next pregame show and we're like, oh man.
I'll tell you what. You know what? Even though we were horrific right now, 3-16, dropped 16 of the last 19 games. We recently, even though, they've actually they're playing some great teams. The Sixers, the Heat. They battled and they were there. It wasn't like they were blown out. Even though the final scores were a little
lopsided.
Yeah, a little lopsided. The team was there for a majority of the game.
Yeah, we didn't suck as bad as we suck.
Yeah. Yeah, as
if you look at the 76ers game,
we were there too.
A little bit of improvement if you look at the final score.
Or 5 minutes to go, man. We were there.
Yeah. That late game execution, boy, that kills us, man.
It's terrible.
And I really think it just comes down to
not having a point guard and not having
a
creative coach.
No point guard is what it comes down to. Yeah, the point guard that can control the tempo in that fourth quarter, that can dissect the defense, because defensive intensity increases as the game when you get to the fourth quarter, technically in those last 5-6 minutes, and that's when you need that kind of guy like a Derrick Rose to get in there. Isn't it crazy that we currently right now do not have an NBA point guard?
Crazy.
I don't think it's crazy. I mean, it's something that as Knicks fans we're kind of used to.
but
maybe that's more so me then, I guess.
Yeah, maybe, but not even a serviceable one. Not even like a scrub.
I mean, we have Deuce. It's just Tibbs won't play him.
Deuce doesn't count.
Deuce
doesn't count.
He should count though.
Deuce counts until Tibbs plays him, and then we can see he doesn't count. But until then, Deuce counts.
But he's not getting burned. So we are currently playing.
Without a point guard.
We have IQ, who is shooting guard,
a pseudo point guard.
He's a combo. He's a
like, PPG pseudo point guard.
Pseudo point guard. Even though I do like what he gives us when he's on the floor. I mean, I still look at the numbers, and everybody plays better when IQ is on the court. Unfortunately, IQ doesn't. His shooting is still, but lately he's been doing a little bit better. Let's check out
those rivalry games.
Yeah. Look,
Maxie won that.
Well, the last pregame, remember, Keys, I said if Deuce doesn't play tonight, I will lose my shit and call for Bibbs to get fired.
He heard you because he did play him a little bit, didn't he?
Hey, a minute.
He said, "Hey, I saw George's pregame. I got to get Deuce in there at least a little bit. Can't take the heat right now."
Yeah. Bibbs has to go, man. This is ridiculous. He's wasting an opportunity for us to find out what Deuce can be.
And Cam and Sims.
Cam. Well, Cam actually played 23 minutes.
Hallelujah.
But they don't have him doing anything. They don't have him involved. He's for the most part, he's standing out there.
And because Grimes got injured, it wasn't because he's saying, you know what, now's the time for us to put in Cam.
Exactly. And then what happens when Rose comes back? Because it seems like he's plotting a return.
Hey,
and Grimes comes back.
You guys remember early last season, RJ was the guy in the corner. There was no pistol action yet. There were no.
Yeah, but when are we seeing RJ starting to blossom with the ball in his hand and him being more involved? So maybe we can see similar growth from Cam if Tibbs would get him involved, especially now that we're seeing Cam coming in with the second unit, and there's times where he's not out there on the court with RJ. Let's run the offense through Cam.
Yeah.
And again, folks, if you haven't checked out the wonderful video Quis did on RJ breaking down his game, it's spectacular. Check it out on Sports 5 TV.
Absolutely.
Kudos, my friend.
Yeah, great breakdown. It just shows
next one's going to be on defense because Tibbs, he's supposed to be a defensive coach. And if he's not here to develop these young players and his team is still playing terrible on defense, what's the point of having Tibbs as the head coach? You know, his key to fame is the defense he employs out there and him getting his players to step up and rise above the occasion and give their all out there on the court. You're seeing the best player on the team, and Julius Randle, give little to no effort on the defensive end. You're seeing
wait a minute, he went to the New York Post and said he was just, he was upset with the effort.
It's ridiculous.
I'm glad you brought this up. Look, you remember he said he's more concerned about the defense than the
Tibbs,
offense? Yeah. Okay. Here's some just cold hard numbers. All right. Guess. Okay. In this losing stretch that we're on, this lost 16 of 19, the last 19 games. Where do you think the Knicks rank in terms of offensive rating? Wait, first, before you answer that, let me ask you, where do you think the Knicks rank in terms of defensive rating?
Since you're asking us, I'm going to assume top 10. So let's say 9.
Foxy.
I'll go with the same thing in the top 10, and I'll say 30 on the other one.
Yeah, definitely 30 on offense. All right. Have to be.
The defense during this hellacious losing stretch, the Knicks defensive rating is 111.7, which is league average. Okay. Which puts them at 16th. That's the league average for the whole season. And this is just this 19-game stretch. They're right in there, league average. And their offensive rating, guess.
30th.
Yep. 96.4. The audacity that guy had to say he's not concerned about the offense, and we are not even. The next worst are the Trailblazers, who kicked our ass, and they have 99.6.
And Burks is the best.
Miami Heat actually has not been doing. Miami Heat actually has been struggling during this stretch. They're at 102.5, but they actually have a great defense. But even that, they're at 109.6. So kind of crazy numbers there. But can you imagine? We are the worst offensive team in the past 19 games, and Tom Thibodeau had the audacity to say he's not concerned about the offense.
And Burks is the best option for us.
Yeah, he's crazy.
What?
Yeah.
That to me, that's why I said, forget it. We got to get this guy out of here.
No doubt.
What are you trying to bullshit us?
He's out of touch.
But don't you think? You think that's what it is, or he's just trying to gaslight us, or?
I don't know. I lost.
I don't see how that benefits him. Yeah, I just think he's lost. He's lost his touch with the game, lost his touch with some of the younger guys. And this is the byproduct of it, where you have young players not being put in the best position to succeed. And you have the coach opting to misuse his vets as opposed to allowing the young guys to be out there, learn from their mistakes, and make something of this lost season.
Develop. Yep.
Yeah. It was brutal, man. Let's talk about something fun. Let's talk about RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett. Look, I gotta say, guys. We've talked about this a lot. On the side when RJ was struggling. Remember that? Back in December, even like November, also. It was, and we were like wondering, did we just totally whiff on that third pick? You know, why can't we get lucky? You know, and I mean, what if RJ can't deliver and Randall's, you know, shit in the bed, terrible? What are we doing with this franchise? And then he started cooking and cooking and cooking and cooking. He now has the most 30-plus games, 30-point games of any player 21 and under this season. 8. He has come around in a way, and then he lit up. Look, one of the best defenses in the game for 46 points. Meanwhile, the world is losing their minds because Ja lit up for 52. It's just 6 points more. The Spurs, who are the worst net rating team. We're in terms of net rating, we are 29th with a minus 15.3, and the Spurs are 30th with a minus 19.6. So a 4.3 points worse than we are. And he takes on the challenge of trying to defend the other team's best offensive weapon out on the perimeter. The guy is really turning into what I would say, I think this is his star turn year. If he continues going, like you said, Keith, early on, you know, the exciting thing now is to watch, you know, what RJ is going to do every night. If for the next 20 games, if he averages 22.7 points per game for the next 20 games, he will finish averaging for the full season 20 points in year 3 before he turns 22. That is a star.
And he's doing it with against opposing force too, because he's got Julius Randle hogging up the ball as well, getting into his spots and things like that.
And no point guard, not proper screens for him. A guy in the paint, like we were just saying,
Mitch clogging up the paint.
Same
with Randall. Randall also clogs up the paint for him sometimes.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah, so he's doing this all in spite of the situation that he's in. Now, the question is, can RJ be a number one, bona fide number one on a contender? Keys.
Well, for me to say he can, I would have to see him continue to be consistent, like I said to start the show. And he has to up his free throw percentage as well, because if he's going to be a guy that you look to in the clutch, we have to be able to rely on you to hit your free throws in those moments. So we're seeing him being able to step up and run an offense, whether that be, you know, pick and roll, finding Mitch or finding guys like Quick, Obi for jump shots. And defensively, he's starting to get, you know, better. He's not elite like we thought he could be coming into the season, but he's giving effort out there on that end more than, you know, some of his other teammates. So if he can continue on this path, I can see him become a number one, but we have to see him be more consistent to the point where we can rely on him night in and night out to not necessarily have the 40 points, the 30 points, but we, you know, solid 25 and 5. You know, he has a real well-rounded game. He's able to get you rebounds, he's able to get you assists, and he's able to get you points. As long as he's able to give us a reasonable amount of those every night, I think he could develop into a number one. But be consistent, knock down your free throws, and continue to be confident in his three-point shot, because when that's falling, he's virtually impossible to guard, because then the defenses, they have to start to cheat. And then we're going to see RJ play bully ball and run right by him.
Yeah. And he even, like, he hit a nice, some mid-range shots. Yeah, some nice middies. Foxy, you've been crying out for that.
Yeah, for sure. And just, you want me to, you know, give
just to talk about the free throw thing. It is annoying that he took a step back, because he was a poor free throw shooter. You know, in his rookie year, only hit 61%. And then last season, he hit 75% of his free throws. I mean, and so I thought, oh, wow. Okay, we're past that. And remember, he started hitting his free throws towards the end of the rookie year. Remember, last month, he started trending upward, and we're okay. So for him now, for that to fall off, where's he at now? He's at just shy of 70%. 69.
Yeah, he's been hovering around 69 for the whole
Yeah.
season for the most
Yeah.
part. And we saw that step up in free throw shooting last year. The same time we saw the step up in the 3-point shooting. So we thought he had found his shot, but now, you know, he's taking a little bit of a step back. We just want to see him get back to where
It's
he was last
climbing a
year.
little bit. In the last 16 games, he's at like 70.2 or something. So he finally got over that 69 into 70, but it's still too low for someone who takes as many free throws as he gets.
10 percentage points too low.
Yeah. We want him to be at 80%. He's someone
for a 2 or 3. Absolutely, man.
He needs to be there because also he's the guy who's going to have the ball in his hands. He's the guy who's going to get fouled a lot, and he's going to be on the court in the fourth quarter. He needs to hit 80%. You know, I'll take 79, but not much lower. I think it's within his. I think it's within his range. I think he can do it, especially when you consider, I mean, what kind of a 3-point shooter he's turned himself into. You know, 40% last season. He's coming back up there now. What's he at now? He's at 36%. But that's when he started out like, what was he, like at 31% for a long stretch of the season. So he's climbing up. So Foxy, what's your feeling about him evolving into a bona fide number one on a contender? Now, it doesn't. When I say this, I don't mean like Kobe. I don't mean like that.
No, I know.
Like a Booker.
Yeah.
Like a Devin Booker. That kind of level.
Yeah, I have a more controversial take. I think what Quis said was right about consistency. But when you mentioned that this was one of the topics possibly, and I thought about it and threw around numbers, thought about all aspects. His ceiling, I'm not saying defensively, strictly offensively. I could see Kawhi. They're both. It took him 5 years, Kawhi, to average 20 points. Kawhi is not the most fluid athlete. You know, they're around the same size. He has this crazy wingspan, but
those giant hands.
Those giant hands and wingspan, absolutely. But he has a 6'10" wingspan, RJ.
Yeah.
He's 6'6" and everything. So what Quis was talking about. So hitting the threes, hitting the midi, that physicality, getting to the hole and stuff like that, getting more savvy, getting better handles. We're seeing him using his right hand. I literally can, so when I thought about it, I'm like, this is going to be controversial. Are you saying no? I'm saying on the offensive side, he'll never be Kawhi on the defensive side, but I could see him absolutely being a 1 or a 1A on a team. He's impressed me, and I think his trajectory is there. That when everybody knows that you're going left every time and you still do it, then you're elite. That nobody can stop you.
And then he's been going right as well.
And he's going right, and all the other elements we're seeing in his game that you have to take a step back. So that's why Foxy, you're saying he's Kawhi. I'm saying he could be on the offensive side. Kawhi didn't average 20.
I can see that. I can totally see that.
Cool.
I can see that. I can see that as like his highest ceiling.
I wish he played defense like him, but I'll take an offense.
Kawhi is he's a
generational defensive talent.
He's one of the greatest defenders to ever play the game.
No doubt.
So Foxy, you're saying we could have our own version of Kawhi in PG-13? And RJ and Cam?
No.
He said, I'm not so sure about Cam yet.
I'm sold on the RJ. No, but I'm sold on the RJ part. I'm just not sold on the Cam part. I just got anytime somebody's traded for Kevin Knox and leave, I get worried about it. So I gotta just say, he's got to really prove himself. RJ is proving himself. So, but if Tibbs gives him the thing, I'd love to see those two guys. Because I think RJ be great medicine for Cam's game. Those guys growing together and everything. But I could absolutely see him be a number one option, George.
I think so. I think that's the one thing that he's actually proving now. He's in the midst of showing the world that he can be a number one. And the other aspect of it that's kind of proving it out is how other players, other stars are starting to see him. Butler said he's going to be, he's doing his thing. He's going to be the face of this franchise. Harden,
Did you see after the
talk
game,
glowingly
Harden like lovingly touch his head, like say to him, young Buck, you're on your way. So yeah, but also one other things beyond that, the way he's seeing the floor. So
we haven't. Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that part because
it's beyond just the scoring. He's seeing the floor at a, not even compared to Randall. His decision making and stuff.
Yeah, he's still making a few mistakes here and there. But I think
21. Yeah,
he'll filter those out. He'll filter those out. So Berman, he wrote this article. I don't know if you guys got to read it. He interviewed RJ today. And RJ said he believes his all-star dreams could come true as soon as next season, with a caveat. Now, I pulled this one section out. He said, when asked at Friday morning shoot-around if he feels it's possible to take the leap to being named an all-star next season, Barrett said, I'd be crazy to tell you that that's not where my mind is. Of course, I'm thinking about that. It's a goal of mine. I definitely want to get there. It's also knowing team success is a big part of getting there too.
Yeah.
I think those things go hand in hand. And let me tell you, those are the words of a star, but like of a potential great star. Those are he understands that his team, it's not just about him and putting up empty numbers.
Mature beyond his years for sure.
Yeah. Also, I saw this incredible.
That a good media training.
Yes.
All the above.
I saw a great breakdown of RJ's ability to play make. Oh wait, it was your video, Quis.
I knew it was. Well, you got the great part.
And I think that's the area that that's the area where he can possibly supersede any of the aspirations that we might have for him. His ability to play make is, outstanding. And the other guys on the other end aren't even necessarily. Can you imagine if he was playing with another guy with his level of talent, receiving the ball being on the other end, and vice versa? Yeah.
Or playing with a coach that can draw something up where we have players actually cutting to the basket or moving off ball.
Like a nice double delay with a delayed screen, a delayed cut, like stuff. Get easier buckets, guys. We don't.
Watch some Warriors film, man.
Yeah. Or benching players that step in front of RJ when he's about to get the ball.
Yeah. Troy Flett said Butler posted him up like 10 plays in a row and RJ couldn't stop him. Actually, that was incorrect. Butler only scored 2 buckets on RJ during that stretch. There were others he scored on. He did get fouled, but
he got fouled, but he did get good positioning.
He got good position, but he didn't smoke him for 10 plays. That's not at all what happened.
But it's the NBA. That happens, man.
Yeah. Well, when you're one-on-one, yeah, absolutely. One-on-one.
And it's also the internet. You got to exaggerate a little bit.
Yeah,
it's a little.
You got to exaggerate. It was. He definitely scored on him a few times here and there. But I saw one stat that didn't make any sense at all. That only one basket was actually scored on RJ during that game, and that's not what I saw. But either way, there's lots of stuff flying around. But it was a good battle between them. I love watching them play, those two guys.
Yeah. Hey, just real quick, we have 108 people in the chat. We have only 39 likes, so do us a favor. Please smash that like, please smash that subscribe, and please turn on that all reminder bell so you don't miss out any of the great contact from Into the Knicks-Verse. While you're at it, please subscribe also to Sports Vibes TV. We really appreciate it. Share the link on your favorite social media platforms. And again, thanks to the mods for all you do.
Prezi the boss. Work on becoming the New York Warriors. LOL. Absolutely. Why not?
Start by hiring Kenny Atkinson.
Yes.
Step number 1.
Hey, Warriors and Suns. I think Warriors and Suns are great models for us. I think we should be looking at now. They got lucky. They got Steph Curry, generational talent. I wouldn't call Booker a generational talent, but obviously, a number 1, a bona fide top 15 player in the league. Can
Memphis is another team to look at as well. Memphis is another team to look at.
Memphis is
try to emulate.
Yeah.
Good coach, man.
Yeah, really good coach. Yeah. Wow, we're really down on Thibs. As we should.
Where's that jar?
Here, Gerald, I know I can always count on Geraldine to give us an anti-Thibs comment.
Geraldine's the coolest.
He's on the
She's the
sideline.
coolest.
Yeah, absolutely. You're so true.
It's funny. You hear Tibbs screaming, but you never hear the Knicks calling out any kind of defense or switch. Nothing. No communication.
Yeah.
You know what? The only communication this year watching games that was driving me crazy, but also impressed me, was Grimes running down. He was one of the few that'd be pointing to people. No, take him. So this kid is phenomenal. Hey, wasn't that good news you see him with the brace on taking his jumpers? So
I think he looks like he might get back hopefully by the end of next week.
yeah, hopefully that brace just keeps that thing in place and it doesn't pop out again.
Because once it pops out once, there's a likelihood of it popping out again.
Yeah, you scared the hell out of me when you did your report last week, and I was like, I didn't realize it's like a dislocated shoulder like that it's going to be a reoccurring thing. So get a good brace, keep that bad boy in there, man.
Yeah, from what I've heard about that injury, if by like 10 days after, if it's not stable again, then it's going to be a lot longer. Like there's a certain like it depends on how far it actually went off the track.
Yeah, as long as there's no bruising, the ligaments
stretching the ligaments, the tendons, and that stuff.
And then if there's a bone bruise, you've got to wait for that to heal before they can get back on the court. I've heard that once the athlete is pain free, then they normally say it's okay for them to go back on the court and start getting into on court activities.
Good. I hope he gets back on the court. We need him. He's another guy who's really been he's been the second most exciting thing that's happened this season for the Knicks. That our number one.
It's crazy, right? The 25th overall pick is the second most exciting thing to happen. Well, I guess that was the same thing last season with Quick too, right?
Yep. Yeah.
But our defense is, how well we play on defense is predicated on a rookie. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I think about, God, it'd be nice to have, just let RJ be the point and have have Quentin and Cam be the wings, Randall, and then Mitch as the 5.
And then we'll throw $40 million on the bench.
Hey, yeah,
we're 126 points a game. What is that money doing?
It's all season, man.
We've
got $8 million at home, and we're better off putting $40 million on the bench. You hear that?
Yeah.
Imagine if you spent your personal finances like that. God bless you.
But that lineup, look at the diversity, the switchability, the ball handling. Cam is a better ball handler than Grimes is. Just from my eye test.
Grimes can't really dribble. Cam is definitely a better.
He's struggling. That's one thing. That's one thing. But you know what?
He's got it right, man. Yeah.
I mean, he's competent. He just
Grimes can't dribble.
Yeah.
Cam has
look
very
at
good
Grimes
handle.
when he gets pressed.
Cam does.
Yeah, Cam has good handle. When Grimes gets pressed, stops dribbling and gives it up.
But also, even worse, he can't go left. So, when he can dribble, it's 99% of the time to his right. His left handle is his weak handle.
Yeah.
That's why I really don't want him out there as I guess I'm gonna call it now, a PPG, a pseudo point guard, because he can't dribble at all. So he
wouldn't be that. It would be Cam. It would be RJ and Cam, primarily sharing the dual pseudo point guard role. The positionless. We're talking about positionless basketball approach. With Thibs is not the guy to run that, even though he talks about it. He likes the idea of positionless.
Talk's a good talk, but his actions are terrible.
Yeah, Tibbsdale.
I gotta say, he looks Tibbsdale. He looks defeated in those post games. He's so quiet. He's down, and this season has definitely worn him down. You can see it. He's trying to put a brave face, but he knows this thing is spiraling out of control.
Clock is ticking.
Yeah. But we'll see. All right, so we got the Suns. The game's going to start pretty soon. Look at this. It's hard to even look at this because they're missing CP3 and Booker, so it's almost, these stats are almost irrelevant. But either way, the Suns defensively, they're going to bring it. They bring it every night. I think this is the kind of game that the Knicks could get lucky and steal the first trip out, the first game out west. it would be nice to pick up this win tonight, and maybe, you know, the Clippers game, they can kind of put it together, and maybe we can break out of this losing stretch that we're in right now, which is just it's killing our soul.
It can't continue. It can't
continue. We have to win. We have to just get lucky and win it at some point.
Yeah.
And tonight,
At least one just to reset.
Yeah, but if you're saying Cameron Payne, Landry Shamet, you know, Ayton, Crowder, and Bridges, you know, we match up with our team. If this is a game we can win.
Yeah.
You never know, though. We let no names go off. It might be the Alfred Payton revenge game.
Yeah, Aaron Holiday. Watch out tonight.
Mr. Dem Don 1 says, nope, I see them losing a close one. We not winning if Burks is the starting PG. Well, that's a whole other story, man. That it's just mind-boggling that Burks is allowed.
We've got to see what the win-loss record now is with Burks starting that point guard.
Yeah, you know, I've been working on this intense deep dive on all the data on where the team is currently now in the past 19 games, and it's shocking. I mean, I'll just give you guys a tease of it. It's the fourth quarter. Oh, first of all, the numbers are drastically different. When Burks starts, his efficiency is in the toilet. When he comes off the bench, he's the Burks that we knew from last season.
He has more assists.
More assists in his role.
Yeah.
More assists as a small forward than he does as a point guard. With all the games at point guard, he's averaging, I think, 2.4 assists. And it's like, what the hell did we get rid of Frank Ntilikina then? We could have got 2.4 assists out of him. His career average was 3. He's a show off.
Randall's plus minus in the fourth quarter is a minus 7.9 in the past 19 games.
Frightening.
Burks's plus minus, I can't remember exactly, but it's like a minus 6 something just in the fourth quarter. That's a bad number for a whole game. That's just the fourth quarter. The only guy who is a plus in the fourth quarter, I believe,
Quick
Obi, I think.
Quick Obi,
because he's barely in.
Obi's like it's like a 0.8 or something, and like Quickly is even 0. Everyone else is a minus player in the fourth quarter.
Crazy.
Well, I mean, with 30, it's in almost every statistical or offensive stat in the fourth quarter, so it makes sense. It adds up.
Yeah, and a lot of that. I mean, my feeling is, I think it's Thibs, the way he handles the minutes distribution. Our guys are cooked instead of cooking, they're cooked.
You did a brilliant video the other last week on that. It was fantastic. Killer take, man. That you're 100% right. Playing 12 minutes, you know, in the third quarter, they got nothing left, and down the stretch, these guys. Great take, man.
Well, look what happened to RJ when he played 12 minutes. He had like nothing. That's why he actually goes in and dunks.
And this is a guy who didn't play for 3 weeks and came back. It's 3 games since he came back from 3 weeks out. So yeah, this coach is brutal, man.
It's crazy.
Running everybody into the ground.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, we're winding down. Thank you guys so much for joining us. This has been great. Any shout outs, guys?
Yeah, shout out Prezi the Boss, Starlight Roller. Who else we got in here? HSVN.
Hey, Starlight Roller. What's up, brother?
Yeah.
Mike Asperis says Peyton scores 50. That'll be the day.
Yeah, and I also wanted to shout out our communities, our children, OCOC. They dropped a New York Knicks dedication anthem called Victory Kings and Queens. So on YouTube, we like supporting our family and the Knicks Nation. So very gifted, very talented, and we just wanted to pass on the word about that. So our communities, our children on YouTube, check it out. His anthem for the Knicks.
I don't think Jay Boogie's on anymore, but I saw him earlier. Shout out to Jay Boogie.
Yeah,
Jay Boogie.
Mike,
he dropped his Obi single for winning the dunk contest. So salute to him as well.
Always Boogie.
Obi.
Yeah, I know, man. It's contagious, man.
You know, we should put on a single, guys.
Right?
The 3 of us.
Well, I think we should just do the music
to all these rappers. They something just like my puppets. Hey,
there we go.
Q to the U to the I to the S. Keys.
All right. Predictions. Will Deuce play more than 2 minutes tonight?
No.
You know,
Even though Tibbs was kind of hinting as if he was gonna play Deuce some more.
he was hinting. I was gonna pull that one up. What was it? Was right? Didn't Berman?
Was it Berman?
Yeah, Berman tweeted that out. He asked him. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah. Thibodeau was highly complimentary about rookie fan favorite Miles McBride. Even 75-second stint to mop up in Philly. Said he liked his defense. Left open possibility of playing him some tonight. Just keep doing what he's doing. His time will come.
Yeah, you could tell he was unbelievably. His defense was incredible in that 1 minute. I mean, it was game changing.
Hey, we've seen him. Actually, we've seen him be incredible in 1 minute.
No, that's true.
Him
But
come
not
in,
in this
steal
game.
a ball, pass it out. But this is a joke. Hey, look, there's 20 games left. We're less than.
He hit a 3. That's all that made me happy.
Oh, it made me so happy to see that. New Yorker, I'm putting this out here. Putting that in the universe. Let's see. Deuce breaks out tonight.
His mouth towards ears.
It would be fabulous if just Thibs just accidentally, instead of looking to the bench and calling out quickly, he calls out. Even though I love quickly, I want quickly, but calls out Deuce in that first quarter to come in.
He's got to ask Randall's permission first, though, because we see Randall's in charge of substitutions. Last time he tried to pull Randall out, he said no.
That's true.
I'm finishing this half.
And it's the reason that Elfrid Payton started all last season, too. It was because of Randall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, statistically, that's the only guy he passed to.
Yeah. And that when Randall, I can't even get into Randall. Total disappointment, man. But all right, guys, I think there's a decent chance that we actually pull this game out tonight. It's going to be tough. We're on the road, even though they're without their 2 best players. It's going to be a challenge, tremendous challenge. But you never know. We had good stretches against the Heat and the Sixers recently. RJ's being consistently awesome, and even Randall has been better. So let's see. Let's hope for the best.
Well, I said to my wife earlier, RJ is going to score 30 and we'll lose by 15.
So RJ gives us another 30-point game.
Imagine we lose by 15 and they don't have CP3 or Booker. That'd be crazy.
They did that yesterday with Simons. They beat the other day. They beat the hell out of Portland without
but we have more talent right now than the Trailblazers.
Yeah, we do.
We just don't put it together. The way we're supposed to.
Yeah. For
so
sure.
We should at least be competitive for the most part. If we lose, we lose. We get better draft position, but at least make it respectable.
Yeah, I was just looking at Simons like RJ. They're both young and they're lighting it up, and they're relying on the rest of their team. So,
yeah.
I mean, we give Julius Randle hell, but he's not chopped liver. He's just not great as a one. He still at least can do. Look, Foxy's like, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
I saw it in your face, Foxy.
Can you smell what the Randall's cooking?
More spins and more turnovers,
and that liver smells spoiled to me.
All right, hey Foxy, I'm going to ask you a question right before we sign off.
Yeah.
Ask you this question that I asked Quis in the last pregame. If only one thing could happen to the Knicks before the beginning of next season, what would it be? What would your wish be? If you could ask the genie in the bottle, could grant your one wish.
Could you give me 2? I'll break it in half.
Just one.
Signing Jalen Brunson.
That would be your number one thing.
So point guard.
Because I think I'm worried about the development. I think Brunson would have a major impact on RJ's development, on Mitch's development, on everyone's development. I think he could be the main piece. And my other one was drafting Ben Mathurin of Arizona. But if I only had one, it'd be Jalen Brunson. I think he could absolutely be the stabilizing force that we're looking for.
Hey, Keith, what was yours again? You tried to go with 2. You tried to have 2 also.
Got the double dutch.
We're brothers, man. We don't even talk about it. We think the same.
What did you pick?
I said point guard, then getting Tibbs out of here, and that's how I would try to go about it. So point guard first, and Tibbs 2.
Point guard first, Tibbs.
Because remember, I wanted to give Randall and Tibbs the opportunity to have a point guard before I say, all right, this experiment is not going to work.
Gotcha. D Nice, Starlight, D Nice, formerly known as D Nice, and now Starlight Roller.
Yeah.
So now we know.
Yeah. Welcome, brother.
Thanks for letting us know. Appreciate
my number one thing would be, and of course it requires luck. We get the number one pick.
And who would you take then?
Chet.
All right.
I would take Chet.
Me too.
Because there is a possibility that these incredibly frustrating front office is not going to move off Randall. They're not going to move off Tibbs. There's a possibility. And
we're more likely to fire Tibbs than move off of Randall.
Yes, they are more likely, but I'm saying I can see a rationale where they're like, let's just give this guy a third year. I could see that, which is infuriating to me, but I can see it. So if that happens, how can we get out of this? A guy like Chet Holmgren fits in perfectly with Randall and RJ. His skill set, his understanding of the game. He even gives you rim protection. He's not, in terms of a body defensively, he's going to struggle against other big centers.
Yeah, he'll probably play 4 a lot.
He can play 4
in the first couple of years. Yeah.
Yeah. But he's that rim protector 4.
I agree with man.
And his basketball IQ is just off the charts. And, maybe, and then he could become that guy that, when the superstar says he wants to go to New York, he can be that piece that we trade instead of them asking for RJ, or, Randall. Maybe Randall ends up,
it better be Randall.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, he's got to up his value again by playing well, and then there's that catch-22. If he starts playing well, then they're like, well, let's not trade him. He's playing well. It's that whole
we're too indecisive. This front office moves off their position too easily. Yeah. They drafted Obi. Randall plays well for one season, and they say, okay, let's scratch that. Let's try something else.
He's not a KP, Evan. He's not a KP. This guy, he's actually 10 times tougher than KP already, and he's like a twig.
I agree. Totally.
Yeah. I can see why you'd be worried, but look, KP, he ended up being an all-star. I mean, he like totally blew his career by listening to the wrong people, but
I think we're cursed though. We won't get the 1, but that's why I said if we get Ben, then we could shift RJ back to the 2, have Ben at the wing, and a Brunson, RJ, Mathurin. Yo, now that's the nucleus for the future. Woo!
Would be nice. All right, guys, game's gonna start. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It's awesome. Love the chat. Love the contributions here. Lex, thank you for holding it down for us so much. Welcome, Woody Wood, Evan Best, New Yorker, RJ the OG. All right, I like that name. Yeah, man. All right, let's get this win tonight, guys. It'd be nice.
Facts.
It would be nice to do a recap about a win
with a smile on your face, right?
Yes. I think the last one was the Warriors game.
The last, we talked about that the last pregame. The Warriors was the last win.
I still think you got to hook something up.
3 weeks ago?
You have steam coming out of your ears, George. I think it'd be a great visual that you got to hook up some pyro stuff.
Actual steam.
Steam coming out of your ears. I'm tired of that Tibbs.
That'd be funny. Hey, who knows? We'll have to. I'm going to change up the set. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Subscribe to Into the Knicks-Verse, the Sports Vibes TV. We alternate pregame shows.
Sunday at 8.
Sunday at 8 is Sunday night show.
Yes, where's the place to be? Sports Vibes TV.
Yep.
Sports Vibes TV. And then we're also going to lead into the pregame too. So Foxy, I'm going to have George come on. Our show is typically an hour and a half. So after we finish our show an hour and a half, I'll send the link to George. He'll jump on and then we'll go through with the pregame.
Right. We'll flow right into the pregame.
Beautiful.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. And we will see you around the Knicks-Verse. Oh, wait.